We knew that Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, was going to have a rough road ahead of it because these box office tracking numbers are coming out at like $35 million opening weekend. That would be significantly less than the first Shazam, which opened to $54 million at the box office. Well, now we just got these numbers in. Box office, Shazam 2 flies to $3.4 million in Thursday previews. To put that in perspective, the first Shazam movie was almost $6 million in Thursday previews. So already we're seeing it tracking significantly behind. Put that on top of the fact that right now the critics do not like this movie, which whatever, I don't really put much trust in the critics necessarily. Of the couple audience members who have gone and see it, they feel okay about it. The people that wanted to see it, that were willing to go see it anyway. But when you compare that to the first Shazam was beloved by the critics and the audience and ended up doing pretty well at the box office. This is going to remind me a lot of what we saw with Black Adam, where the critics didn't like it. The audience members who gave it a chance and were interested in it and went because they knew they'd like it anyway, ended up liking it, but nobody went. Nobody went at Black Adam, made like $400 million at the box office, ended up losing money for Warner Brothers. We might be seeing the same exact thing for Shazam 2. Oof. And the funny thing is, you can't even get the critics on board by making the characters more gay in this one. They made sure to put the gayness of a main character at the forefront of this movie because they wanted to make it more clear. They wanted to make it more evident. They wanted to make it a bigger part of the narrative. I guess even that wasn't enough to get the critics on board. Shazam 2, if these terrible numbers continue to track, this might end up like $30 million opening weekend. Could be the worst we've ever seen for a DCEU movie, including Birds of Prey.
I think that we, as fans, we need to stand up against bigotry and hatred. And the fact that the critics are now review bombing this film because it has a gay character is truly disgusting. And we as a people need better criticism out there. So these critics that clearly have review bombed this film because it has a gay character need to be called out, held accountable. They need to be exposed, and we're going to do that here. This movie is failing for many reasons. Do we hold James Gunn accountable for this indirectly, Ryan? Do we hold him accountable for things like this failing to get any traction, considering the messaging that's being put out there after his announcement?
I do think that the turnover of DC and the announcement of all this new stuff has an effect on it. Like, what are you supposed to do? I guess, should you just keep quiet and not say anything until everything runs its course and then announce? I don't know. I do think that the very uncertainty of, well, are these characters going to be around? Does it fucking matter? Is there any connectivity? I do think that it will keep some people away and keep some people not interested.
I see no scenario where this movie was going to do anything. I don't see any scenario. You as a company, you as the leader now of it, James Gunn, like, you've done nothing to support this movie. You have essentially killed this movie. You have Titanfall 2'd this movie. That's what EA did to Titanfall 2. They essentially killed it. They murdered it before it even came out because of a lot of different things, release dates and putting in certain things. And with the messaging surrounding this movie, you have killed it before it even came out. You have told fans, you have put a signal out there to tell them, hey, this movie doesn't matter. This universe doesn't matter. We don't care about it. We are going to focus on James Gunn's new approach. What does it need to break even, Ryan?
So with the new numbers that they put out, where they're somehow saying, oh, even though the budget was 125, we only ended up spending like around 100 million. Probably needs to break about $300 million to break even. It's going to have a tough time doing that if it has these type of numbers, this type of opening. And I see some people, who went and saw it last night saying there's no pandering at all. It's a 2-second moment where, Shazam's brother comes out and says, I'm gay and all this stuff. Well, you know what the problem is? That these screenwriters can't help but talk about how important it is. Gaten, the screenwriter, explained that while this aspect of Pedro's character was hinted at briefly in the first Shazam film, he really, really fought for us, including that and bringing that to the fore in this movie. The only new addition for this movie is being a lot more forthright about Pedro being gay. And it was hinted at in the first movie very subtly. And I thought it was really important and really, really fought for us, including that and bringing that to the fore in this movie. This is how they decided to market this movie. This is how the screenwriters wanted to talk about this movie. This is what they wanted to talk about. So can you really blame people when this is what the people involved with the film are saying about the film in order to promote it? And then you get in there and it's a couple second moment about him coming out and telling everybody he's gay. This is
Yeah.
how they are pushing this movie because they think it'll help them.
There's no such thing in current Hollywood as innocence in how a person's sexual identity is portrayed on screen, unfortunately. There just isn't. When it is promoted in any way, shape, or form before a film comes out, it's over. It's over. It's done. Like you cannot take that as just an innocent thing. Yes, if a gay person is in a show or something like that, okay. But when it's promoted, when there is any type of promotion or celebration surrounding it by the creatives involved, it's over. It's done. I'm out. I'm done. I don't care. You've lost me from that moment. Do not celebrate a person's sexuality. Do not highlight them. Do not define them off who they sleep with. The moment you do that, I'm out. I'm done. You've lost me completely. I'm out. That's how you have to have that hard position on this.
We'll see what this does over the weekend. That Thursday preview is really worse than I thought it would possibly be. That's really fucking bad. So we'll see what happens throughout the course of the weekend and what Shazam opens to, but it certainly doesn't look good for this movie.